I do a lot of clinics and present at a lot of horse expos around the world. And there's one question I'll ask a lot of, ask those things. I'll say, has anybody here ever ridden a young horse outside for the first time? And a lot of people will put their hand up. And I say, so how do those young horses ride? Are they nice and straight and forward? And everybody says, oh no, they're really wiggly and ducky and divey like this. And I say, so why do you think that is? And the answers I get are always, well, they're young and they're inexperienced and they don't know what you want them to do. They're unbalanced is another one I hear a lot. They're not physically mature yet. The rider's too heavy. They're not used to carrying the rider's weight. There's so many different excuses or things that people seem to think they are, but really what it is you'll take a horse in an arena, or if you're going to ride them out in the outside somewhere, you're trying to ride them away from home, from the place where they think they're going to get a rest. So what we're looking at here is the first ride outside on the young horse at our place, and what we're doing right here is basically we're not doing what we normally do. What we're doing is what most people do, is try to make this horse go in a certain direction. You can see right here, this is what most people think a young horse does. It's hard to get to go forward, and it ducks left, ducks right, ducks left, ducks right. But in reality, what's really happening here is people are trying to make the horse ride away from the place they feel comfortable, the place where they'd like to have a rest. And so, all those things that people tend to think that these horses can't do, they can't carry the rider's weight, they're not balanced, all of those things right there, really, that is not actually the problem. They just make the problem, they just seem to be the problem, but they're not really the problem. So what we're going to do right now is show you what you can do the next time you ride a young horse outside. Instead of getting on them where they want to be and trying to ride them away from where they want to be, what I suggest you do, just to prove it to yourself, because a lot of people are really think that this is exactly what horses do, that they just can't walk forward on their first ride because they're tight and they're not sure about the saddle and they're not sure about the rider and all those sorts of things. So the next time you ride a young horse outside for the first time, if you're in an arena, take them to the other end of the arena, or if you ride them out in the pasture somewhere, don't get on them at the barn and try to ride them away from the barn. Ride them, my arena is about 300 feet long, ride them 300 feet away from the barn. Point him back towards the barn. And so what we've done here is just taken this young horse, this same horse that couldn't go forward a second ago, looked like every other young horse on their first ride, and all we're going to do here is ask her to walk forward. And when we ask her to walk forward, you'll notice right here that just with one hand on the reins, she just cruises along, goes in a straight line. She seems to have a more forward walk than she had, and she is so much straighter than she was before. And so that right there kind of proves to you that all that other stuff that people think is the cause of the problem is not really the problem. You can see right here, this filly's just walking along, nice and relaxed, and walking in a perfectly straight line. She's walking in a perfectly straight line back to the place where she thinks she's going to rest. Now, if you remember the very first episode we had, and it was on making the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy, and I said, when you make the wrong thing hard, you're probably not going to do any more than you normally do. You're just going to let them rest in certain places. And right here, if you think about on a first ride, you sometimes walk, but you sometimes trot. So when she gets down here where these two other horses are tied up right here, we're just going to ask her to pick up a trot. And she says, well, I'd like to trot around here in the corner next to these horses. I think I'd like to trot in the corner next to these horses. I'm sure if I trot around in this corner near these horses that my life will be better. I'm sure at some point in time we can stop and rest there. I really would feel good if I could be over here. But you notice she trots around here for a little while and she says, well, that's not working. If there's no rest there, then maybe there's one over here. Now where this mare had been living in our place is in a pen off to the left of the screen right now. And so she came over to this corner and said, well, if it's not over there, I bet there's a rest over here. I bet I'd feel more comfortable over here. So she trots around here for a minute. I'm looking for a place to feel comfortable. Can I stop here? Can I stop here? No. Would this make me feel better? No. Well, if it's not over there, maybe I'll go and look over here. But I know it's here somewhere. There's got to be a place where I can have a rest here somewhere. So she comes back over and she goes, no, it's not over there. Okay, well, it's got to be somewhere. I know there's got to be one somewhere. Let me just wander back over here. We'll trot over here and we'll see what happens over here. So she trots around the corner here. Nope, it's not here. maybe I'll just head back over this way. I know there's a rest here somewhere. There's always a rest. I know I get to rest. I've just got to find the rest. I know there's one somewhere. And she trots around there and says, nope, it's not here with these other horses. Maybe it is over here where my pen is. And so she goes over here towards where her pen is. And if you notice, when she comes around the corner here, she kind of straightens up a little bit right here. And when she straightens up and goes a little further away from this end, that's when we choose to bend her to a stop. So we bend her to a stop and we give her a place to rest. The thing that she's been looking for the whole time. She's been looking for a place to rest. So I'm going to speed this up. So we just sit here and rub on her a bit, rub her on the neck, rub her on the butt a little bit, rub her on the neck, let her rest there for a while. And then when we go and ask her to walk off again, let's see where she goes to. She doesn't go to the corner where her pen is or the corner where the other horses are. She circles around, she goes, hey, my resting spot's right here. I found a resting spot, it's there. And we said, no, it's not. And she's like, oh, it's not? Okay, well, maybe I'll have a look over here. And if you notice right here, just watch this right here. See, she relaxes her head down and really swings her legs. Like, that doesn't look like a first ride, does it? But if you remember in the first episode when I was riding Bundy doing that circle exercise, and I said when those horses get to where their mind and their body are going in the same direction, they'll really loosen everything up and hang their head down and swing it. And if you notice right then, she went even further away. So this time she went further away than she did last time, so that's somewhere new. So we're going to bend her around here. Now, right now we're just making sure she's got soft lateral flexion when she bends to a stop before we let go. Just waiting for her to get soft about there. Good. And then once again we're going to sit here. I'm going to speed it up for you. Sit here, rub on her. Just sit there, let her relax for a minute, let her find that good spot. And then we're going to ask her to walk again. Now, where does she walk to? She goes straight back to the spot she just got to rest. So it's not really home and it's not really the other horses. It's just wherever they think they're really going to get to rest. And she says, do I get to rest here? And as soon as she thought she wanted to rest there, we asked her to trot. When she trots off, she goes, okay, I'm pretty sure it's over here. Like, I went to the other horses and I went to the corner where I live and it's not there. And then right there, she starts going further away. So what do we do now? We're going to reach up and bend it to a stop again and go, very good. You found a different place to rest. So we stop here, bend her around, wait till she gets soft, then rub on her a little bit. Like before, I'll speed this up a little bit. She sits there, so now we'll go ahead and ask her to walk again. Now, she's 3/4 of the way down the arena right now from the end that she started at, where she didn't really want to leave. Okay, so we let her sit there a bit, and then we ask her to walk. Where does she go? She can either go to the right, her right, which would be towards the camera, which is towards the end where she didn't want to leave when we started, or she can just turn left and wander over towards on a loose rein towards the end that we couldn't get her to go to when we first started. We were trying to steer her down there with a left rein and a right rein, and she didn't want to go down there. And all we did was give her a little work, and we weren't being nasty to her, and we weren't making it hard. You know, I said make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. We weren't making it hard. All we're doing was just giving her a little bit of work. She had a little bit of work down here, and then she got to rest anywhere away from that. Now she's found herself all the way down to the other end of that arena. So now we're just going to bend it to a stop and let her sit there a while. So then after we sat there a while, I said, you know what we probably should do now is just to prove a point, I want you to hop off and lead her down to where we started from. So if you remember, this whole thing started, we got on this filly down here, and you see there's 2 horses tied up on your right there. We got on this filly right here and we tried to ride her forward away from these other 2 horses. And she was ducking left, ducking right, ducking left, ducking right. She didn't really want to go away from these other 2 horses. Not because she's unbalanced or she can't go forward or any of those sorts of things. It's because that's where she wants to be. Now we're going to hop on and ask her to walk, and this with one hand on the rein, she's going to walk forward nice and relaxed in a straight line on a loose rein. And she's just going to walk down there. Now, if you think about 10 minutes before, we couldn't get her to do this. And like I said, many people seem to think a reason a young horse is so wiggly and squirmy and stuff when you first start riding them has to do with their balance and has to do with the rider's weight and has to do with them being confused and has to do with a lot of things. But once you understand the principle that horses are always looking for the place to rest, you can use that to influence those horses to go where you want them to go, just like you can see right here. So I've seen cutting trainers